Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. It's Charlie. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, 318. Ooh, ooh, cow. It's 94 degrees today. It is hot. It's really warm. It's been pretty hot for the past couple days. Yes, I did cut my hair. I cut my hair this morning. Um, it's been really hot. We've been in a serious fire watch situation all across up and down California. So, and we got some fires going on right now, and it's pretty bad. They just pretty much, I think they have the other fire pretty much control. I think as of yesterday it was like 83, 87% contained. That's been almost a week now, so it's been a troubling fire. Um, yeah. Other than that, it's been uh, just been noticing and talking with a lot of friends. California lifestyle seems to be a little bit kind of elusive. We kind of used to be pretty much kind of laid back. We were kind of, I don't know, the trend setting state. Uh, well, New York and California both from east and west. But California for over here definitely was always watched and somewhat envied, I suppose. But life was a lot better, more affordable, easygoing. Yeah, we had some problems with the battle of the sexes, a lot of racial wars and everything that we were going through in the 50s and the 60s, especially in the 70s, early and mid 70s. Um, but all in all, things as crazy as things were here back in California in those kind of days. Uh, Life was a little bit more affordable, easygoing in that sense, not as bad. I mean, when I was when I was 16, 17 years old, I was making 335 an hour. I wasn't living at home, but I could afford to live on my own and had my own vehicle and gas. I don't think insurance had been mandatory back then, so you didn't really have to worry about all that. We did have, I believe, the three strike rule law come into play, but I think fuel was still really relatively affordable. They had just done away with regular gas. Uh, Unleaded was a new thing, so a lot of the older cars had to buy the graphite stuff to add to their fuel tanks and stuff like that until they started readjusting the fuel. Um, but life was not so bad all in all, even politically wise, cost wise, still relatively affordable. Wherever you went out to go eat and stuff like that. But kind of flash forward today's times, I would say within the last 10 years, easily 10 years, life has really gotten very expensive here in California. And the state has gotten very angry. Uh, when I say state, I mean everything as a whole, as a collective, from people to government. It's uh, it's a powder keg waiting to be ignited once again. I had just been last night. I was on YouTube, and there had been a new video that popped up, and it was an old video from actually the riots, from the LA riots, and I clicked on it, and I was like, wow, I totally forgot about that. I remember I was just getting, oh no, I was at work. It was midday, and I had heard on the radio um, the judgment, not guilty. And then later on, I heard on the radio that this was on KLOS. I think it was Mark and Brian that came on this afternoon. In the afternoon, I think it was Brian that said that martial law will be instated by 5 o'clock in the evening, and The voice, I remember, I turned it up. I used to always listen to KLOS, and I turned it up, and the tone in the voice when someone's speaking, and it's not sarcasm, not joking, especially when air personality. You never know if they're on their game or not. But yeah, martial law will be 5 o'clock this evening. Anyone after 6 p.m. subject to arrest or being detained. Blah blah. I'm like, holy crap! This is like science fiction. This is really happening. Wow. Yeah, that was the start of everything that set off everything else here in California. People were already, I think, very, very more so than ever, um, racially separated when that happened. When it was first recorded and revealed to the general public, or what the police did, there was an instant racial separation. It was pretty bad. You can feel it wherever you went. It didn't matter what other race you were. You can just feel it. And even if it was black, white, Mexican, Asian, you just started feeling it, and you almost started looking at each other, and it's like, wow, is this person going to go off on me, or is he going to do something, or what? Tensions were pretty high, and then flash forward to the verdict, and everybody just went nuts. It was sad because everybody was just adding more financial chaos to their own lives in days and weeks and months and years to come, because we were all going to have to pay for this. Even if you were dumb enough to go to that stereo shop or that TV shop or whatever and steal TVs and clothing and stuff, you're going to end up paying for it because everything's going to be more expensive around there, and it costs if you vandalized or whatever, you just caused more cost to the merchants that were brave enough to reopen after that whole insanity. But a lot of people did. Thank goodness for them, they didn't give up. But it just cost them more to start all over again, and they got to pass the cost on to you, and just makes things a lot more difficult, you know. And then they start looking at all the customers differently, Then they start suspecting everybody. After something like that, and you start to open up your business, you're never quite the same. You're never going to feel as safe as you once thought you were in your community that you had been there for years. Everything's a bad effect. Everything is a symbiotic effect. What you do in life does affect other people and those around you. You may not think about it, but it does in some way or another, good or bad, whatever. But our life is symbiotic in that sense. It's the 7 degrees of separation, and it affects us that way too. But now it's more expensive here. Governments are really, California wants to secede from the Union, wants to become two different states. Our governor is in battle with the President of the United States. They don't see eye to eye. They want to sue. We have the immigration whole thing. We have ICE in California. We have the last one was like this last one was the killer. People were just crying about minimum wage needing to go up. Okay, well, yeah, I understand maybe $1.50 at the most. What's federal minimum wage? 7 and a change federal minimum wage. And it was usually always just a squinch, a little bit more here in California. All right, so everybody more or less bitching and moaning and got the minimum wage. So now people are going to be making $15 an hour. But that comes at a cost also. Now that's going to change a company's outlook on its labor costs. And the greatest cost is always going to be labor, because labor costs fluctuate. Material costs and advertising costs and stuff like that usually don't change so much. It doesn't fluctuate so much as employees. So the stock market on people is just more volatile than the actual stock market on goods. Isn't that crazy? If you think about it, really think about it. I mean, how much trust do you really think an employer puts in their people? I don't think by today so much. Not with everybody being so tenderfoot in life. So you start doing that and everything's going to cost now. So now what, not just, and I'm not talking just about my employer, I've been talking about a lot of employers, everybody, more so in California. Now we're going to cut back hours. Now we're really going to do cuts. We're really going to do restrictions. We're going to take our whole overlook of how we've been doing business up until now and just change it, because this is going to cost us now. Now that individual wants $15 an hour from, say, $9 an hour, on top of giving them benefits and everything else. Well, now we're going to have to change the game. So now eliminate positions, condense more titles, more duties, more jobs into one position, whereas maybe you had 6 positions in a company, you can bring it down to 3, most definitely, and just double up the workload and responsibilities on individuals. Cut down on this, condense that. We don't need that no more. Yeah, I've seen it happen, going through it. So, and instead of the 40-hour work week, which doesn't exist anymore, certainly not here in California, certainly not here in LA County. Yeah, the 40-hour work week doesn't exist. The 8-hour day doesn't work now. So in order to avoid paying them that $15 plus giving them benefits after, what is it? It used to be 30 hours, then you're eligible for medical and disability and that whole 9 yards, just general benefits. I think now it's like 26, 28 hours. It's dropped down a bit. But still, now the average workday is usually 4 to almost 5 3/4 of an hour to not pay that benefit, so that employee does not get the accessibility of medical benefits and stuff. So keeping them at bay, say 28 to 29 hours, maybe pushing it to 30 hours. That's pushing it. That's really pushing. That's scary. Keep them at bay at 28 to 29 hours a week. Some a lot less, some 12, some really not even so many. I mean, yeah, it's getting bad, but this is what they're doing to compensate for that. So whereas, and I was not really happy for this. I kind of was at first, and I thought about it. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's great. At first, it was like $12 an hour, and then somehow it got pushed to $15 an hour. I'm thinking $12 an hour. Wow, I was making I was making a fraction of that at their age. A fraction, $3.35 an hour, and I still made it. And we still had money to go party and go buy beer and go do whatever, go to the arcade and just, we still had money, but everything is so expensive. Gasoline now is going, we are the most expensive state in the union. Insurance, homeowners insurance, property insurance, auto insurance, life insurance. And now renters insurance is really, really going through the roof, but it's a hot ticket item to sell here now. They're really pushing renters insurance on that. And I've talked to some people, some young folks actually that have renters insurance. For some reason or another, they are so misguided. They actually think that buying renters insurance or getting renters is going to keep them from either losing their apartment or getting evicted, or B, replacing their home if they get evicted. Yeah, that's cookie. Yeah, I was like, no, even then it's like I haven't had renter's insurance in a long time, but I remember you had to still, like homeowners insurance, you really had to take a lot of photographs and document everything that you had, and if you don't have receipts, remember at least the value of what it was that you paid at that time. And when I had renter's insurance, you still had to do that, but they were really focusing on photographing your property and everything that you had within the inside of your apartment or unit or whatever it was. So it would be familiar surroundings, something like that. I remember my agent telling me that. Plus, also dictating and cataloging whatever you have. But yeah, it's really really expensive now. I mean, transportation has just gone up. Also, the foothill now is $1.75, matching Metro, which has been at $1.75. So that means Metro is probably going to make, like I said, probably another hike here by the end of the year, if not at the first quarter of 2020. I'd say, God, I hope no more than 15 cents, and that's a lot. That'll make 120, $125 a monthly bus pass, I think, because it's $100 now. It was $5 for a day pass. Now it's $7 for a day pass. So they'll jack it up to $7.50, $7.75. Yeah. And then gas being expensive. And another thing, like New York, like good old New York, another premium here if you're you drive and own an automobile or a motorcycle. Parking is at a premium out here. My goodness, I tell a lot of people that the best turnkey business here in California, especially here in the San Gabriel Valley in Pasadena, is parking lot. Buy yourself a piece of land, might make sure that you can do a parking lot, get it zoned, properly and everything. Stripe it, paint it really nice, and you can work it yourself. Start off at $10 to $12 a day for parking. What is the average? About $1.15, $1.25 every 15 minutes is what the common charge is around here locally. So yeah, but everything right now, and the big thing that's really also making California angry and the focus of everybody's attention in this nation is the homeless situation. Now, I hope it doesn't, but I have a strong suspicion that we are going to have another riot situation. We are definitely going to. And I think this time it's really, really definitely going to be because of an economic class. Like Brazil and everybody else has been fighting, Portugal or what did this start off because of transportation costs? But anyway, it's going to be really bad here, and I fear for homeless people because now we have so many homeless people here in California that they are going to be the whipping post of society and communities. I fear that if we do have another riot situation, uh, that a lot of people are going to direct their anger at homeless situations and just funnel into wherever homeless people are. And it's not too far to look. I mean, you look down one street and you'll see tents or vehicles being slept into. That is actually my greatest fear. When we had the LA riots, I don't think there were too many homeless people that were targeted. But given in this day of age, being the powder keg of the homeless situation, where everybody and other countries consider us as a third world. Los Angeles is a third world country. And yes, I have to agree because we don't have housing. We have lack of housing. And now the housing that they want to build for the homeless, now they're complaining that it's going to cost too much money. oh, it's going to cost 500 and something odd just for like a half a dozen units. It's like, well, but it's going to cost so much money because there's not profit in it for you folks. Now, if you had that same amount of people charging premium rent, then you wouldn't be complaining about what it's going to cost because you're going to make your money back in the real estate game. But here you're not losing. You're not really making. You're being subsidized. You know, barely making it enough to do this. Maybe get a break on your taxes or whatever. So there's no money in this. Now that's why you're complaining about what it's going to cost. Oh, it's going to take a lot more money than we thought of the grant that the government gave us. That's what it's for, to build the necessary housing that is needed to get these poor souls off the street and taken care of, and then taken care of medically or mental, whatever it is that their need is. Get them employed, whatever. Just no, it's no. We have to economize. What are you gonna do? Clip out coupons to get a construction break? Yeah, I really fear that we're due for something, and the homeless might get targeted. I don't know. I was just thinking about that yesterday, and everything that's been going on, all the violence that's going on, the fires, and Southern California. Actually, another thing that I saw last year is the fires. PG&E, People's Gas and Electric. Well, it was People's Gas and Electric back then in the day, but they're the ones that started the Saddlebridge fire, the fire that we had last year, big one. This time it was Edison Company that started the fire. So now another thing that's probably making California residents, really itchy, is that they came out and said, Southern California said, that people are just going to have to get used to the fact that when we come into fire season like this, there's going to be random and quick blackouts in order to shut off power when we arrive in those windy and hot conditions, which I understand. But now we have really become full circle in a third world country where, like, we're going to lose electricity for a while. It's how we're going to do this. How can this be? How can this be? So when you have people that are relying on have electricity, maybe people that are, in residential homes hooked up to life support systems, it's not such a good idea to do. Fix or whatever it is that you need to fix on the infrastructure. I don't know. I'm just home today. It's warm today. Where's I gotta turn the fan on. I ran some errands today, got my coffee, and came back home, and I'm just doing nothing. I'm just relaxing today. I'm so tired. These days are just very exhausting, so I'll go back to work tomorrow. And I think I'm off the day after. Kind of off and on this week. Next week looks kind of bleak, but that's okay. It's no big deal. We'll be busy enough here in about another 2 weeks here with the holidays and everything, so that's good. All right, my friends, I'm going to take off. I'm going to get something to eat, get something to drink, and upload this video. Probably take about 2 hours. All right, so you folks take care of yourselves, take care of each other, but always take care of yourselves first. Love one another, trust one another, be kind to each other, help one another. Don't take today for granted or any other day thereafter. Live for the moment. Pull down your pants and slide on that ice. God, did I miss any spots? It is hard to do this. It's easier to shave my head than it is to use the clippers because you gotta feel for the high spots. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing, we're doing, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification button. Tell your friends and family about me, about us, what's going on. And Charlie got a haircut. He's bald again. It's been so warm. Ugh. That's why we have a high fire watch situation right now. All right, so comments, my friends. Comments, good or bad, leave them. Please, any suggestions, leave them. You don't want them acknowledged, email me. And yeah, that's That's it. I shall talk to you tomorrow. I love you all. Take care and have a beautiful Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday.